love deep. Women are long-suffering. Women don't know that men love deep. And that is why, and what women don't recognize is that men are actually more loyal than women are. We exhibit this in our purchasing behavior.
Ew.
A woman will purchase, even if the hair product that she bought worked beautifully for her, she can't help it but to try another beauty product. If a man finds a body soap that works for him, he's going to have that body for the next 20 years. Yeah. Very loyal, very consistent. It's not that men don't have the capacity to do so. Of course, there's conditioning and social, inferences and learnings that we need. But the point is that it's possible. It is there. We just don't recognize it. So because men are stoic and because men say things like we want respect, we believe, first off, women don't even know what that means tangibly. What respect, what does that look like? And second of all, men actually crave emotional intimacy and connection. But public facing will say respect. But when you really begin to break down respect, there's an emotional tension, connection to that, right? There's this, he disrespected me. Your feelings are hurt. You feel hurt. But we don't want to say that. So we'll say respect. So it becomes nuanced for a woman. You're not going to get respect from her because she doesn't understand that there's an emotional connection and intimacy. But if you speak in her language and say emotional intimacy and connection, you will feel respected. You understand?
Hey,
I just want to say, Cassandra? Rome sold this whole video.
He's like,
and that's my homie. I knew Cassandra forever.
his faces were like,
That's my homegirl. I ain't gonna hold you.
Ain't nothing like a woman that understands a man and is on a man's side and wants to better a man.
don't twerk on the camera,
I
Jada.
do believe that a lot of times men have to understand their true responsibility of leadership, right? And a lot of times you get into a situation with a woman who's had bad leaders her entire life, right? And at the core, she's still a good woman, right? But it's up to you to know whether you are willing to put in the work, right? And I'm not going to say to show her what's wrong with her, right? But to basically lead her to the point where she comes to realize that she's contributing to an environment that isn't conducive to what her goals are, right? Because I think a lot of times disrespectful women don't even realize they're being disrespectful. They're running on the inertia and the momentum of how they've lived their life. Once again, what men in their life have allowed, right? And I'd love to correct this thing here too, because a lot of times people speak to, does that woman have a father in her life? Did she have a father? And I don't think that that's the thing, because the question is, okay, but how did she watch her mother treat her father?
She got played.
And also, how was she received by her father?
Or vice versa.
I think it's more than just the presence of a dad, right? Because truth be told, there are women who may have adored their fathers, right? But their mother
was their example of how to treat the father.
Did, right? So there's this inner conflict within them where they love you, but they don't know how to treat you. They don't know how to value you because they never watched a woman value a man to really.
That's so true, Mo. That's so true.
That's a good example because.
Could you imagine that somebody loves you, but they don't know how to treat you?
Absolutely.
That is so true.
Which brings me
I'm
to
over
the
here
next
like,
point.
And it happens.
to cry over
And once again, and this is where, as a man, you got to put your big boy pants on if you truly love that person.
That's very true.
Right? And this is what I mean by the balance, right? The balance of giving that person validation, giving them love, but also knowing when to put your foot in their ass. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And when I say put your foot in, I'm not talking about physical, I'm not talking about violence, but knowing when to put your foot down and say, look, you're not going to play this Jedi mind trick with me. And you're not going to try to trick me into thinking that what I'm doing is wrong, because all I'm trying to do is teach you what no one else cared enough to teach you.
So true.
So in this conversation, I'm just going to bring forth that a child's the representation of the man in their life has to be a good representation. Because again, let's talk about shaping people into how they react in the future. That's a good example as to why I act the way I act. Because I'm sitting here seeing a woman cater to a man. My dad is incarcerated, but my stepdad, he was in my life, and it always was kind of like, I'm gonna fix everything by bringing gifts or buying or love bombing and stuff like that. And then you have a woman who's waiting for a man to get his shit together and be faithful or be a good man, and not just always try to come back after he's messed up with gifts and sweet talk. And then as a child, seeing, yo, my mom needs to be treated better than that, or maybe that's not, I'm not trying to throw my mom under the bus, but at the end of the day, seeing those types of examples where you're loyal or faithful to a man that portrayed as if he was going to be a great father figure and a great man to you, and then my phone, you know what, forget it. I ain't even gonna go that deep. But at the end of the day, sometimes I look at men as, yo, I can hear all of these great things, but sometimes it's just embedded in my brain, the things that I've seen, not just with my mother, but with friends. I'm going through it really bad now with a friend. And sometimes I just see like how great sometimes like a man will have it, and he'll just stomp all over, crip walk, do the hella toe, all over it, and violate these women. And so I'm sorry, that is just what I see more than the good. Oh. And it's not that I don't have like great women around me. It's just that I have a lot of experience with shitty men. I'm sorry, but that's why I'm very aggressive. And that's why even my relationships, I attempt to be a great woman, but I always have this idea of like, yo, it doesn't matter how great you are. Sometimes men are just going to do what they want to do.
My dad was not around, like he left when I was 4, came back, and then left me when I was 16 and I got pregnant. He disowned me, straight up disowned me.
I remember you told me that, yeah.
So, it comes to a point in our lives though, at our age, where we can't blame what our parents did, or what we seen when we were little.
That wasn't blame. That was just me.
But you saying right now that it still hits you, that means you're still dealing with that. Like you still struggle with that.
Friends as well that are still.
But that has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with you.
Me, I'm saying in general with men in their relationships. I hear that, a lot of times, okay, I'm not saying women are not the problem. I'm not saying that they cannot be annoying or whatever the hell it is that they're doing in their relationships, or they just expect the most out of a man and they're never being appreciative. I'm saying that I'm experiencing the opposite. I'm experiencing women who are loyal, staying at home, waiting for that man, doing whatever they need to do, cook, clean, everything.
Yeah, but
putting their jobs on the line just to make sure that they're doing right by that man, and then he's completely violating. You getting phone calls from the next chick.
I understand.
And so what I'm telling you is not only that experience growing up, but that's why I'm just like men can be strict in their relationships. Sometimes I feel like I can be either too lax, because sometimes I'm just like, man, a man gonna do what he do, or I'm just gonna be like not strict, but it's like, as soon as something rubs me the wrong way, or I feel as though you've already done something that I don't approve of, it's like, that's not what I want for my life. Let me go ahead and move on.
No, I understand exactly what you're trying to say, but what I'm telling you is that you should not base anybody's experience on your experience, and you need to. Right, the first step you're doing is being aware. You're being aware that this is what I see, and sometimes it affects me. But now you have to take an extra step and actually be mindful of that when things are happening in your life, and be like, all right, let me not take it like this, or let me do the opposite, or let me not think about that, because it will affect your relationship, and you're carrying that trauma like into your relationship.
What it affects is me at work. When I go home, I'm always in a great relationship. One thing about me, I'm always in a great relationship. Do I bring my experiences to work? Hell yeah. Am I a totally different person at home? Yes, definitely. I am. Actually, it was a joke before I came to work. My little sister was like, you about to go there and talk junk. We just laughed about it a little bit too, even though you didn't find it funny. But yeah, like I'll bring certain shit to work that I experience or I see, but my experience at home is completely different. I'm just bringing awareness.
You definitely just can't let your traumas be like your life.
It's not my reality at home.
Like as we grow up into adults, there's a point that we have to get to where we come to realize that everything we've gone through in life are just isolated incidents, and have no reflection on what lies ahead, right? And the path that's ahead is a path that's untraveled, and it has nothing to do with what's behind us. And we all got played yesterday. And we all understand. and guess what? And there are other homegirls that are going to get, and there are other homegirls that are going to get played tomorrow, right? And the next day, but my thing is this: as human beings, I realize that we always form our idea of what the future lies by our bad experiences and not by our good.
Mhm.
Because if we really thought about it, out of all the people we came across in our life, we've met way more good people than bad. That's every last one of us have met more good people in our lives than bad.
In the beginning, they're good.
No, listen. I'm not talking about relationships. I'm talking about people you've come across in life. You've come across more people that have done good than bad. That is just how it is for everyone in life. But for some reason, we love to craft our vision of what the future holds by our bad experiences. And I think it's because pain is way more memorable than joy.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's a pain pleasure loop.
Yeah, but the truth is, our bad experiences are not a depiction. They're not a mirror of what lies ahead. Our bad experiences are just a mirror of what we have the opportunity to learn from, right? And the truth is, the only thing that we can do is self-reflect and look at what we contributed to the situation as we move along and make sure that we don't repeat that, rather than projecting it on other people, because we
Yeah.
have no control
That's what I'm
of
saying.
their actions. We only have control of our own.